where best friends and next-door neighbors, Willow and Lillian, spill the tea on murder, mysteries, and other things that go bump in the night. So get your favorite teacup ready, and let's get into it. Welcome to Cruelty Podcast. This is Lillian, and with me is Willow.
Hello.
If you hear rumbling in the background, it's storming like a motherfucker.
I'm so happy.
It's so nice.
Oh.
Of course, it's sweaty spaghetti because it's humid.
But we've needed this rain for so long, and it's really creating quite the atmosphere. It is just going bonkers behind you in that window.
It's like an EDM show out there. Yeah, I know it's a white people thing to say, but we did really need this rain.
Is that a white people thing?
Oh, it really is. Well, anytime
just talking about the weather.
A horrible storm, you'll go to be like, well, it sure was blowing, but we needed it. We sure needed it. That's what they say every time. Yeah.
Well,
anyway, it's a female serial killer month.
Girl, yes, it is. And this case is interesting, but rough. There's rough parts.
Let's trigger warning the fuck out of it.
Yeah. Major trigger warnings on child abuse, child sexual assault, strangulation, domestic violence, domestic assault. Any of that. I do not want to go into any details. I'm literally just going to kind of
I do not want details on child sexual assault personally.
No, I'm just going to tell you that it happened. It is triggering enough as it is.
I just feel like, and I know some people will disagree with me on this, and you know how I feel about that, what they can do to my butthole. I just feel like there's never any call to go into excruciating detail on horrific child abuse. That doesn't honor the victim. It's salacious and it's unnecessary. And first and foremost is to honor the victims.
There have been a few cases where I have gone into certain details, but
if it's pertinent to the case,
in certain circumstances, it does feel as though you're almost like standing up for them.
Yes,
but it has to be done correctly.
I think my big one is child sexual assault.
Yeah, no,
I don't know many people that can stomach the details of that, and I don't get the reason to. We can just say it happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No. This one we're not going into any detail about it. So this is actually Mexico's first female serial killer. And
that would be first female predatory serial killer, I'm assuming, because most female serial killers are caregivers. Oh. That's the distinction. And I'm not saying we won't be covering some caregivers this month. We will, but mostly I'm going for the female predatory serial killers.
Right.
Because they are rare. Yes.
She's definitely predatory.
There we go.
So throughout the late 90s and early 2000s, a prolific serial killer reigned over Mexico. From 1995 to 2003, approximately 40 women over the age of 60 were robbed, bludgeoned, or strangled to death in their own homes, most in broad daylight.
Oh, that's terrifying.
The murders took the media by storm in the early 2000s, and everyone in Mexico City lived in fear of what was dubbed La Mataviejitas. Now,
La Mataviejitas?
Yeah. So notice the beginning kanji of that word.
La.
Yeah.
Female. Yeah.
No, male.
Male. La is male? I thought la.
Oh, L. Huh.
L is male and la is female.
I think they changed it later. Okay. That's what it was. Sorry, I got mixed up.
No, that's fine. It's just the Duolingo Al told me.
No, they had the L at the beginning. So it was originally thought to be male.
Okay, got you.
But it means the old lady killer.
Got it.
So for the longest time, police did not think that the crimes were connected. But by 2005, the police in Mexico City were under scrutiny for dismissing the connection between the crimes. Everybody knew that they were connected, and they basically just wanted the police to do their job. Mexico hadn't had many serial killers, at least not serial killer investigations up until this point. Most of their serial killers were actually only confirmed to be multiple or to have multiple killings once they were actually caught. So most of them would just be caught on one crime and then later on realize once they have them in prison that they're actually serial killers. So they really needed help from outside forces. They ended up getting international agents, and they set out the largest manhunt in Mexican history. Compiling the evidence from cases for over the years, fingerprints gathered at 9 of the scenes matched the same unknown suspect, and they were able to determine an MO. Now, clearly all of the victims were older women above 60. Many live alone in middle-class neighborhoods, usually located near parks or public areas. There was never a sign of forced entry. The women were attacked during the day and robbed of cash, jewelry, religious statues, and other small valuables. Nothing really big. Most incidents happened either on a Tuesday or Wednesday, which to me, that just means like, okay, those are your days off.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
Yeah. Most of the victims were strangled with items in their house, like a phone cord, a piece of fabric. One was strangled with a stethoscope. Because of the strength it takes for someone to strangle someone to death, police assumed that the killer was a strong male, or at least assigned male at birth. They thought that maybe this person could possibly be have an accomplice just because of the ability to kill, like in those ways. They just really couldn't. The
sheer physical force.
Yeah, and the ability to like overcome someone in their own home in broad daylight.
Yeah, because when you think of it, where are you most comfortable? Your own home.
Yeah.
So if somebody's attacking you in your own home,
right,
it would make sense to think it was two people or a very powerful masculine person.
Right. Because it wasn't like the house was in shambles. It wasn't like there was a strong fight that happened and, stuff was flying everywhere. It was still very neat and orderly. So I don't know. That's just an interesting part to it. It was as if the person was being let into the homes by their trusting and unsuspecting victims. They were leaning more towards a medical professional, like a nurse, because of some of the items that were left at the scene, like the stethoscope. Police collected eyewitness reports and created an artist rendition and a sculpted bust of the suspect. Witnesses described the killer as a robust and manly-looking person. They described the suspect as also possibly wearing a wig and women's clothing. Most eyewitnesses said that the suspect was either dressed in red or dressed in a nurse's outfit. So police assumed that either this was a man in drag or a trans woman. They just could not fathom that this wasn't...
a cis woman could do this.
Yes. That was never even a thought in their mind. They were like, this has to be assigned male at birth. So they thought they had either had like a copycat killer of a similar killer that had reigned in the 80s in Paris. His name was Thierry Paulin, also known as the Monster of Montmartre. He dressed up as a nurse and terrorized France throughout the 80s, killing elderly women for their money. So it's almost the same exact story there. So I understand why they would think this. Just like the crimes in Mexico City, these killings were not sexual in nature, purely just for the money and the valuable items. Now, Thierry, he was HIV positive and wanted to kind of live up the remaining years of his life. He knew he didn't have many left, so he wanted to party. This is what his motive was. He just really wanted to party as lavishly as humanly possible. He took all of these elderly women's money and credit cards, and through these lavish parties with tons of drugs and tons of just fabulous music, fabulous outfits. And he ended up dying in prison before he could even get a court date. So
damn,
I know it sucks that he killed all those women. But I just really feel bad that he had to go through the whole HIV and getting sick and all of that stuff. But yeah, it's understandable why they connected these two cases. So they just instantly just really thought that this was either, a gay man in drag or a trans woman. I know. And I mean, it's to the very end that they are looking, that their suspect is this. So some of the descriptions of La Mataviejitas were modeled after Thierry Paulin simply because of the similarities in this case. These descriptions were released to the Mexican public. Brochures and posters were dispersed amongst Mexico City. Tips came flooding in. Many people came forward to tell the police similar stories about what they had seen. Hundreds of police interviews with potential suspects were conducted, but all were released due to lack of evidence. Because of the supposed connection to Thierry Paulin, the police started to round up members of the LGBTQ plus communities, especially the sex workers.
Of course. I was going to just say, I bet it was the sex workers, wasn't it?
It was real big, and there was heavy interrogating going on. But luckily, the suspect left behind a lot of fingerprints at the scene. And none of them matched the fingerprints.
Oh,
and
thank God.
You couldn't contest that. So luckily, none of them were jailed wrongly for it. Police even took fingerprints from bodies at the morgue, thinking that maybe this person committed suicide, maybe this person was killed in a gang-related incident.
That is a weird direction to go with that investigation.
Isn't it interesting?
It is.
They were literally... They were looking everywhere for any type of clue, and they just kept running into dead end after dead end after dead end. Since the attacks all happened at various locations around the city, it was hard to pinpoint a location. So they started surveying parks and local public places like gardens and things like that, assuming that the suspect would be meeting the victims there while the elderly were, out on walks or walking home from the store or something like that. Many rumors went around that the police were using old women decoys, which I laugh just because I'm really uncomfortable about that. Luckily, it's not true. But there was a lot of rumors and actual reports. And some people still believe to this day that the police were baiting the serial killer with their own old ladies.
Okay.
I'm so glad that it's not true. I'm so glad that this isn't something that actually happened.
For real, because that is dumb.
It's ruthless. That's terrible. So yeah, thankfully it's just a rumor. Now, on January 10th, 2006, police did arrest someone. A man named Oliver Guzman Lopez on attempted robbery of an older woman and held him on an arrest, house arrest, awaiting his testimony for this because they really did think that he was an accomplice, if anything. They knew that his fingerprints didn't match, but maybe he was wearing gloves, He was robbing old ladies. So the old lady killer had to be him or connected to him or something. So they held him on house arrest for a year. For a whole year, which I appreciate the dedication to finding these women's killers. But over a year later, he was taken off house arrest because on January 25th, 2006, they finally found the infamous old lady killer. On that day, a man was returning home to his apartment when he was nearly knocked over by a woman all of a sudden running out of his apartment and straight past him. Completely shocked, he went inside and found his 82-year-old landlady, Anna Maria, strangled to death with a stethoscope. He called the police and chased after her. When they caught up with her, they realized that she fit the description perfectly, minus the suspected gender. She was wearing red. She had short hair. She was tall. She was very strong. She was nearly identical to the bust. The bust looks like a sculpture of her. When they arrested her, they found that she had paperwork for medical benefits, a social worker ID card.
Oh, my God.
A stethoscope, though she was not a social worker at all. Her name was Juana Barraza, and she was actually really well known in the area for being a female lucha libre wrestler. She went by the name of La Dama Silencio, or Lady of Silence. She wore pink leotards and a pink butterfly mask. Now, if you're not familiar with lucha libre fighting, which I have a certain fascination with their costumes, I've always loved their costumes. There's been several times where I almost spent too much money on a Mexican wrestling mask. I'm glad I didn't.
Oh my God.
But no, I really, really, really love this shit. So yeah, she was really into it. Now, lucha libre fighting is very theatrical. Most of the time, it's very well known for having, scripts. It's like scripted and rehearsed and like, who's going to win, that kind of thing. But there is the good guys, or the technicos, which Google translated this word to technician. I'm not sure if they mean technician or I don't personally speak Spanish, even though I listen to mostly Spanish speaking music. But yeah, they are the good guys. So they play the good guy role. And then there's bad guys who are also known as like the rule breakers. Those are called the rudos. And Juana was a rudo, like just through and through rudo. She even said that she was rudo to the core. And she obviously loved being a luchador. Like she was really, really, really obsessed with this whole lifestyle. People will tell you, now I haven't seen the Netflix documentary on this because I don't have Netflix because I am poor, but people have said that she wasn't an actual luchador wrestler because she didn't go pro. She was an amateur wrestling. She did. There was a lot of people that were saying that she just dressed up as a wrestler and showed up at the events and didn't actually perform anything and like bought fake medals and stuff. And I just, no, she wasn't. She did. She didn't get pro. She didn't get like super famous. She was just locally famous.
It's still better than they're doing.
Right.
Minus the murder.
Yeah. Because she's murdering while she's doing this, because this was all throughout the mid to late 90s that she was a wrestler. And then in 2000, she suffered a spine injury and was forced to quit wrestling. She ended up selling popcorn at the events instead because she just couldn't get away from the atmosphere. She just really, really, really loved the entire environment, which I fucking get because it's so colorful and it's so wild and over the top and exciting.
Seems really fun.
Oh, it's so exciting. Like, and it's so many people in tights. It's great. But it was a place of comfort for her because she never had a place of comfort. And it's sadly poetic that her place of comfort is a theatrical place of violence because... Yeah,
I was thinking that.
You know what I mean? Like, her place of comfort isn't like, oh, picking flowers in the garden. It's beating the shit out of people.
My good friend from high school was really into roller derby for a while. Oh, and I kind of equate the two weirdly.
Roller derby girls.
Oh, yeah, they're hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are. But also very intimidating. I'd get the shit kicked out of me.
They probably wouldn't even let you. You're too small.
Yeah. But yeah, Juana really needed a place that she belonged because her whole life she had nowhere safe to go. She had nowhere that she belonged. She, very much... like the case that you covered last week, Eileen Wuornos. She was made. She was created.
Yeah.
So heavy trigger warnings. Like I said, I'm not going to go into details, but you just have to understand what she went through to get to the old lady killer. She was born in extreme poverty. She never learned how to read or write. Juana's father was a police officer and her mother was a sex worker and an alcoholic. They weren't together, clearly. And her mother abused her significantly. She would sell her young child to men to pay for her addiction. One sexual assault encounter was said to be worth a couple beers.
So sad.
I didn't really think I was going to get emotional on this one. I'm just really mad. Eventually, when she was 12 years old, so this has been happening for years of her childhood. By the time that she was 12, her mother felt that it was time for her to retire. So she sold her daughter completely, traded her daughter for 3 beers to an old man. This 12-year-old little girl. This man eventually,
disgusting,
of course, got her pregnant. Now, Juana's mother kept this secret from the family, saying that she had gone with him on her own accord and that there was nothing she could do to stop her. But when she was 17, her uncles found out where she was and came to rescue her. By then, she had had 4 children with this man. A few years later, when Juana was 20, her mother died due to alcoholism. Rightly so. Caring for her children must have been beyond difficult after growing up in the abuse and poverty and having absolutely no capabilities to further your education or further your standing. She did literally everything that she could to keep food on the table for her children and take as best care that she could of them. And with the examples that she was given in life, I do have to commend her for her mothering. She did not have examples of what to do.
No.
When her eldest son, who was 13 at the time, he was just out for a walk and he ended up getting mugged by several grown men who beat him to death with baseball bats.
My God.
She, of course, was absolutely broken by this. And I don't know how anybody could survive that. But she had 3 other children younger than 13.
There wasn't a choice.
There was no choice. And she kept on. When she had to leave wrestling and work for the popcorn stand, she was unable to make ends meet. When odd jobs like cleaning and street vending wouldn't cut it, she turned to petty theft and breaking and entering. It's believed that Juana Barraza targeted old women because they reminded her of her mother, and that by quote-unquote getting rid of them, she was helping the rest of society. Those are her words.
I mean, I get it on a psychological level.
I do get it on a psychological level. I mean, of course, I don't agree with it, but
no,
I think that there's so much PTSD and pain there. She saw her mother in them. She coasted below the radar of the cops the entire time because those around her, to those around her, she was always clean, like clean cut, very conservative looking. She, always had this really bright smile on her face. She was a loving mother. Her children were really great. She had this very short haircut and this big bright smile, and nobody would think anything. And I really do think that kind of goes to show the power in expression, and emotional expression. We talked about this on an episode forever ago about how, the facial expression when you're dead in your coffin is completely different from the facial expression when you're alive talking to your friends.
Or asleep.
Or sleep even too. But I think that was the context of that conversation. But I think it just really goes to show you because later on, she was in the news and everything. 2 weeks before she was arrested, she was in the news. And nobody recognized her as the killer.
That's so interesting.
Because the facial expressions, the way that she held herself after an attack is completely different than the way that she held herself in normal life. They thought she was a man, and scary. But in normal life, she's a dainty lady. I feel that's very powerful. Scary, but powerful.
Well, it just goes to show again, mm-hmm. when you think of women as weak and less, mm-hmm. then you overlook shit and people die.
Exactly. You don't take them seriously.
Nobody does.
I think that that's going to be a major theme this month.
I do too.
Is not taking the women seriously.
Yeah.
She was, Juana would, just as suspected, she would stake out public gardens, like just like the police knew she was doing, but they were looking for a man. She would wait at these public parks or public gardens for an elderly woman to come by and approach them. Sometimes to help them with their groceries. Sometimes they were like carrying something, like, here, let me help you with that. She'd approach them as a social worker, offering them free checkups to help sign them up for this new benefit like law that had just passed, that you needed like special checkups for approval. So she was like, here, let me follow you home. She'll show them their badge. And, they would just very normally and very gladly walk her in. In the case of the last victim, Anna Maria, she simply asked the woman for a glass of water. She was invited in, and then she strangled her with her stethoscope. I've never personally, I have been to Mexico once. I was a teenager and I got drunk on wine, rum, not wine. But I've been in a lot of Mexican communities.
Yes.
And the Mexican women are so, and I'm going to be like blanket terming, I'm sorry, but are so warm and inviting and comforting, and like, my goodness, I've been welcomed into the arms and into the homes of so many wonderful Mexican women that really just comfort and take care of you. And so it adds to that level, those women that were letting her in
just wanted to help her out, or just,
exactly,
or thought they were getting help.
Yeah, and just really trusted and really invited her in. And the second she got in there, she saw red. Yeah. It just kind of adds another level to the devastation, in my opinion. So the media absolutely went insane about some findings in her apartment. When the police went to her apartment, they found this huge shrine to Santa Muerte. And like, I have personal connections to this deity, not like all the way because I am my own personal deity, but if I had to choose a deity, this would be one of my main ones. And
you can have it. That shit scares me.
I know. But a lot of people there, especially in Mexico City at this time, there was a lot of just really negativity towards this deity. Especially from the police standpoint. So when they saw this shrine, they were like, oh, fuck. Because a lot of people, and it did have, connotations to like gang violence and things like that. There were a lot of like, violent criminals that would honor Santa Muerte about like, gaining control or,
Yeah, there were a lot of gangs with like devotions to her. I don't know about now, but I know like in the early 2000s, it was definitely really popular.
Yeah. I'll do a Patreon episode on one of the mothers of Santa Muerte because I think she's wonderful. But we all have our different ways that we view deities. Everyone does. So I don't know exactly what hers was all about, but it just really added to the atmosphere around this case. People really wanted to sensationalize that she had a Santa Muerte shrine. And now if you go to Mexico City or like anywhere where there's a large population of people from Mexico, you would see Santa Muerte at least somewhere. Like, now it's not that big of a deal, but they really went wild with this. And she actually took some of the statues that were on her shrine from various locations where she attacked people.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But, in a police interview, because she just would not admit to any of the other killings, even though her fingerprint matched everything. She would only admit to the one that she basically was caught red-handed with Anna Maria. And in the police interview, they asked her, "Is it bad what you did To which she said, "Yes, it's bad what I did. No one has the right to take the life of someone else at all." So she knows that she did wrong. She was put through many psychological exams, and they believed that she was a psychopath, that she had no way of feeling for other people's emotions, that her emotions were completely cut off when she killed, that she, that she couldn't feel anything. And I don't believe that. I'm not a licensed psychologist. I have no doctorate. I've never gone to college, so I can't really armchair. But this woman grieved her son. This woman grieved her life. This woman grieved many things. She felt things. She loved really hard. And I think that's part of the part of her killing, was that she loved so hard, she hated so hard. Not in any way justifying any killing, of course, but I just don't think that she just couldn't feel, and that's why she killed. I think it's the opposite. I think she felt too hard and saw red.
Probably. A lot of rage there.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of rage to strangle somebody or beat them to death.
Of course it does. Of course it does. I just really think that the police in this specific case really couldn't understand a female killer at all. So they had to some sort of way justify it instead of allowing her to have PTSD and the effects of abuse. So she told her lawyer that she was very proud that she kept things going on her own. Because, again, she's raising 4 children that came from abuse and terror. She said that she was proud of herself, and she's proud of being both mother and father to her children. And everyone that knew her said, and her family said, that she was very kind and very pleasant to be around. And, yeah, that just shows a lot of emotion and empathy. I don't know. I just when they started to talk about her mental health in that direction, it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. I was like, I don't think you're really speaking for her there. Yeah. I definitely think that there's tons of mental health issues.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. But I think that the credit needs to be given where it's due. And that's from the tremendous abuse that she suffered.
Yes. I've always said, not everybody who's tremendously abused.
Absolutely. But we're sitting here right now.
If you're born with a propensity towards something darker, mm-hmm. and then you're abused. Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's a nature nurture thing, mm-hmm. always. I think it holds hands. That was my phone. Don't be alarmed.
I hope it's okay.
Oh, it's fine. I drop it 40 times a day.
So the fingerprint evidence linked her to 10 murders. Many believe that the death toll is closer to 50. I've seen upwards of 48.
Shit.
Yeah. So there's no way to name or give credit to all of them, unfortunately. But
we will list them in the description and on Patreon, which we'll keep public for our pictures. We will show pictures of the victims.
There's very little information, if any, on any of the victims.
Yeah, sometimes when we're dealing with foreign cases, especially when they're not English speaking, it's really difficult to find information because we don't speak those languages, but they're still interesting cases. We just don't want to, I don't know, I don't like not giving a nod to the victims at the very least. Right. Obviously.
Well, that's why I really just kind of sat with the idea of who were these women, these elderly women in Mexico City? Who were they? Yeah. A lot of them, so many of these women, just made tacos and sold tacos, just, I don't know. They all had different walks of life, but they were all just really kind. They were kind women. Mm-hmm. Her trial took place in 2008, where she was found guilty of 11 murder charges and 5 counts of aggravated battery. She was sentenced to 759 years.
Jesus. Well, I mean, fair.
Which is clearly, hopefully, and forever will be the longest sentence in Mexico history.
Is it really?
Mexico City history.
Oh, wow. That's really interesting.
759 years. Since then, she's been selling tacos in prison to send money back home to her kids. She's been teaching gym in prison to other inmates, which she looks like a gym teacher. She looks like my old gym teacher, so I get it. But she's still keeping up with, athletic stuff. She also allegedly got married and divorced in prison as well. And now, since she's in her 60s now, and since then she has become a folk icon. Like, she has almost been cartoonized, like, in the media.
I feel that way about Eileen Wuornos as well.
Absolutely.
I hear a lot of, God, every once in a while, if you want to go ahead and hate all of humanity,
right?
Google serial killer merch.
I hate it. I'm not
liking it.
Not a fan. No.
That's icky poo poo.
No. And there was tons of like TV show dramas, different movies. There was like even an episode on Criminal Minds, either alluding to her or about her. I don't know.
I don't watch that show.
It's been forever. It's been like since high school.
I can't. It's too not real.
Drama.
I can't do TV dramas. I don't care. If it doesn't make me laugh or educate me, I just can't. That's kind of where I'm at.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I'm usually a documentary girl. I can't.
I gotta mix it up because it can't be work all the time or I go crazy.
But yeah, that is the story of La Mataviejitas, the old lady killer. It's one of those things where, like, with the wrestling and the mask and everything, it became a cartoon. It became sensationalized. I'm sure, like,
just media circus too, on top of everything else. Yeah. But
yeah, it's a story that I've always like heard about, but never actually dove into. And as soon as I heard her backstory, I got crippled by it. I was just
really
God
sad.
Damn it.
It's very dark.
Like, I hate that that's where her life went to killing.
I wish she could have overcome it, but sometimes the trauma's bigger than you.
Right.
So, question. Do you know what you're covering for Patreon next?
Oh, God. I'll do a poll because I have a list and I cannot choose.
All right, you do a poll.
I'll do a poll.
So see if you're a patron, you can also vote on which episodes we cover out of, like, we give you about 10 items. I am covering, because it was voted on by patrons, Darlie Routier next. This is the story of a middle-class, like, white lady. Her and her husband were doing quite well financially, supposedly. And then one night, an intruder, according to Darlie, breaks into their home, attacks her, and then kills her 2 little boys.
I've heard this story before. No, there's so many cases like this. Like, why do you keep telling the same lie?
No.
It's so frustrating. Oh.
It's not a lie.
It's not a lie?
The Innocence Project has taken up her case.
Oh, shit. Yes. Sorry.
The police narrowed in on her, and they put blinders on.
Because I've heard this, like, I mean, there's so many cases where
I know it.
The woman kills the babies and
blames it on an intruder. Yeah, Susan Smith immediately comes to mind.
Right.
Yeah. No. I remember watching this case. It was like Forensic Files or something like that back in the 90s when it happened. And I was just a kid, but I was really fascinated because I believed her. I just believed her 100%. I thought,
and no one else
do it. No. It is because in one part that this was brought to trial is that she was at her child's funeral. They were actually celebrating his birthday. And she was spraying silly string.
Oh, that case.
Yes.
No, I remember that case.
And they're like, because she was laughing.
I remember that footage. That footage is like so ingrained in my mind.
But what that nobody tells you is the additional footage is her just sobbing.
And she was trying to be happy for
so
her
he
son.
could see her being happy.
Yeah.
She wanted him to see the balloons and the presents and everybody being happy.
Oh, girl, that's going to make me cry.
This whole case is so sad and nobody believed her.
God.
And she's been in prison for like 20, 30 years now. And she's on death row. So...
Wow.
I've always wanted to cover this case, and now there's some new evidence, and it looks like it's going to go to trial. I don't know. I hope the Innocent Project gets her out, because I do think I do think she's innocent. And I don't make that lightly. Like,
I know
I have to really.
Yeah.
I had to, y'all. I've read like 4 books, and I've like watched 20,000 documentaries, and I will say, out of all the things I've read and looked into, I've maybe seen 2 that were on her side. And so it just, to me, I just remove myself like emotionally, and I just want to look at the evidence.
Right.
And the evidence doesn't look like she did it, because the police tried to say she wasn't injured badly. Oh my God, she almost died. So.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, you can't injure yourself to like.
You can. I mean, she didn't.
It's very difficult
stupid.
to.
Yeah, but that's what's next? So if you want to check out that case, which is just so fascinating, I'm going to present all the evidence. I'm going to break it down bit by bit like I like to do. Then become a patron. I have yet, I'm sorry, to do the drawing. But don't worry, y'all. I'm just waiting on Willow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I threw you under the bus,
Oh, yeah.
girl.
Hi.
Right.
Hi. I'm Willow, and I'm going through an entire life thing right now.
It's a whole thing.
It's a thing. I'm a mess. And I
she's
stood,
getting at it, though.
No, I'm better than ever.
She's getting at it. Don't worry. And I'll pull your little name out of there, and I'm going to send you some presents.
Yeah. Sometimes
also,
I just don't know what day it is because it's kind of crazy.
If you have ordered something from me in the past 2.5 weeks, everything's insane over here. I am doing my best. You will get it. I promise you.
Okay, she has to kind of like spoon feed me life right now because I'm going through it. So like she has to like make me food and
I make her dinner every night.
And gives me like checklists of things to do and what I need to do and get on track. True. So she's not only having to do all the things for everyone, but also me.
I didn't think y'all would mind waiting a little bit while I took care of my friend.
Yeah, I needed training wheels for a second.
So please bear with me. Things have been like, and I haven't even shared like my shit because I just don't fucking feel like it's nothing major. It's just I totally burned out and went crazy for a little while. I am better.
Yeah.
But I want y'all to know that like producing 4 episodes a week
on top of all of the other things
and running 2 businesses and running Maris's art. He can't social media. He's a mess. Maris's health has been a little sketchy. He has Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. He's been in a lot of pain. And it also affects his depression. So he's been sad.
Yeah.
Because he's hurting all the time.
It's kind of hard to be like super happy when you're hurting. Yeah.
So I've been dealing with a lot and I haven't had any help and now I'm crazy. But I got better. I just had, this is what happened, y'all. This sounds alarming, but please bear with me. What happens is I work 12 to 18 hours a day, and I'll do that for like 5 years, and then I'll flip out, and then I can't do anything for like a month.
You do like a Virgo reset.
And then I just sit and like rock back and forth, and I cry in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then all of my executives are dysfunctioning. One of them has a lampshade on his head. The other one's like pulling his pants down and go, look at my dick. And that's just my whole life for a minute.
It's
fine,
a reset.
though.
It's a reset. You have to reset.
It's just the burnout, and it happens to the best of us. I'm amazed.
I know we have a lot of artists that listen, and I know y'all know. Not that only artists can have burnouts, but
and it was all precipitated by a bad commission.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
I was just crying every day. Like I couldn't physically make my hand do the thing.
And you didn't. You put your foot down and said, "I won't do it." Y'all need to start doing that.
We got to put our foot down sometimes. Put your foot down. It's really important to our mental health. I should not have. I knew I should have said
you should
no.
Have never taken that commission.
I shouldn't have. No. And I told myself,
some
you will
of y'all
live
out
to
there
regret
are listening
this.
Like, y'all are my voice of reason right now.
You will live to regret this. I told myself.
Speak from experience currently.
Yeah, and if you haven't heard me pushing tarot readings, it's because I just now got caught up.
Good job.
I still have a couple I'm working on. I had I think last month something like almost 100.
Good.
Which is great.
Yeah.
But y'all, that is a way more emotional energy than I convey. I really get into it because I'm not going to give you something crappy. I want it to resonate.
Never going to half-ass anything ever.
Whole ass.
Whole booty. Speaking
of tarot readings, I am opening them up again. I'm going to go ahead and run my special again because it's spooky season. Why not? Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a 10-card full spread tarot reading. These take me about 2 to 3 hours to do. I meditate beforehand. I do a cleansing ritual bath, and I get into it, girl. And then Maris will do an 8x10 watercolor painting of the position of the stars on a day that's special to you. He paints the constellations like in an old vintage, old-timey way. Go to his Instagram for examples. And if you're waiting on a shipment, because you've already gotten one of those, don't worry, it's on its way. I'm getting ready to go to the post office the next couple days. You will get it, and I ship everything fast. So, yeah, if you would like one, hit us up. Maris is now done with those commissions, so we are open again. Pre-ordering soap gift sets. They gone, my friends. I have one witch's brew left. I have one gift set left. And they're amazing. This is cucumber and melon, which doesn't sound very fall, but I don't care because it's yummy. And it makes me, I don't know about y'all, but like smell is like triggering memory to me.
Oh, it's so, yeah.
And the 90s was all about that cucumber and melon. And it just reminds me of going to the mall with my friends and stopping by Bath and Body Works.
Do the little hand sugar scrub. Did you ever do that? Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, I should get some of this. But then I never did. And I wasn't a cucumber melon girl, but my friend was. I was a love spell girl.
Love spell.
Yeah, because it smelled like a cheap stripper, and I loved it. And so, I don't know. And like Halloween's my favorite time of year.
I still get the Love Spell wax melts from Walmart.
It's okay, you can.
I love them.
You betrayer, but anyway.
Well, make me some.
No.
See? They're $1.
Yeah, so the design is really fucking cute. It's like a little witch's cauldron with like bubbles and stuff and little bats and witches' hats and pumpkins. And you're going to get that, a veiled lady candle, a perfume oil, several bath bombs, 2 bars of soap. I'm sure I'm missing something. I don't know. Oh, and it's all gift wrapped. You get Halloween candy. It is so cute. There is one left. It is $40. Retail value probably close to 60 to 70. If you want this I will not be doing gift sets after this. Otherwise, it's just soap. So if you want this gift set, hit me up because there's one left. I could probably squeeze another pumpkin spice latte in there, but that's all. I can't do no more. We're out, which is great.
Good job.
Yeah,
You did it.
Yeah. So, yeah. But if you want to wait till launch day, that's fine. There will be no gift sets, but there will be plenty of cute soaps. And I package them super cute for Halloween because it's my favorite. Other than that, Willow still needs her help, y'all. I would prefer donations to the apps. GoFundMe. Let me explain. Not only do they take a fee, but then I have to transfer it out of my bank account into PayPal to send it to Willow.
Another fee.
And that takes another fee. And by the time it gets there, we have lost almost 50% of any donation.
Yeah, I've already lost like over $100 in donations just from the fees.
Yeah. And
that's not like my donation, so it's your money, like
that's y'all's money. Yeah. So, and I get it, like giving strangers money on the internet. It's a little creepy, but GoFundMe doesn't vet anything.
No.
So I'm going to put Willow's apps in there.
Thanks.
Yeah. And please, if you can, hey, don't do it if you can't.
No.
Like if it would hurt you.
If like a handful of people sent me a couple bucks, I could make it work.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to talk about, because we got the time.
Oh,
we got the time.
The rain is coming.
The rain coming down. It is thundering. God is telling me now is the time to tell you. My shop is named Wolves and Wine Alchemy because I'm making magic, y'all. Yeah. We're making magic. Me and Willow are working on a jewelry collection.
She hired me.
Yeah.
I needed a job, so she hired me.
I did. And let me tell you, it's gorgeous.
I'm really excited because I've always been into like doing things with my little hands.
Your fingies, your phalanges, as you like to say.
Yep.
Kill me. So what this is, the jewelry, is like, imagine some natural elements like antlers, bones, crystals, sticks, sticks. Feral women eating the hearts of men. This is what I want to convey. But add Satan in there somehow. I don't know why. He's just there hanging
man,
out.
like looming over.
Yeah. And this evil.
There's moss and stuff.
Oh, there's moths.
Oh, I said moss.
There's moths,
but
too.
Moths
I like moths.
too. Yeah.
There's literally moths, though. So this jewelry is made out of a process called electroform. It is where you plate something in metal that isn't metal.
You grow metal on things.
Using acid, copper sulfate, and electricity. And I have taught Willow the way. And together we are going to put out this beautiful collection just in time for the gift-giving season. And listen.
Just in time for my birthday.
I'm going to knock your socks right on off. So, you might as well just take your socks off. You don't even need them.
Don't even come with socks on.
No, bitch, because them socks flying off your little footsies immediately.
On impact.
So I'm just excited, and I can't wait to show you guys.
Yeah, I have so many designs already in my head. She has so many designs.
Oh, I've been working tirelessly.
We have so much inventory coming.
Yeah,
it's in the process.
And let me tell you something right now. I believe in y'all. I believe in me, and I believe in Willow. I want to sell out by day 3.
Aww.
I want to sell out. And Trust me, this is some beautiful
I'm
shit.
making rings and ear weights.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all
sexy
stretched
stuff.
ears. Y'all get some ear weights.
I need some new ear weights because I've got gauged ears. Or as I call them, my little ear buttholes. Yes. And I got some really cute plugs, but I want some weights.
Yeah.
I got some cute plugs for my birthday, but I want some weights.
I have so many designs. It's just...
Yeah, I just wanted to...
It's never ending.
Look, I've been trying to sit on it and keep it a secret, but I'm not good at that because I get excited.
I know.
And I just want to tell everyone, and then they don't care, and then I'm sad.
It's just like looking back, it's so cool because I've been working with my best friend next door for 6 years.
Yeah. I've been doing makeup for your photo shoots.
Yeah, we did ghost
tours together. We did the podcast. Mm-hmm. It's fun.
It's so cool.
It is.
I love it. Like, it makes me so happy. And I get to do more stuff.
Yeah. But it's just a good way for Willow to get herself a Snoop job.
Oh, yeah.
Because I believe
I forget
Willow,
about the money-making process of life. I'm just like, ooh, fun.
Yeah, I know. Like, I wish I could just give the jewelry away because it makes people so happy. Cool. And they are one-of-a-kind pieces. I want to tell you about one of them really quick. I'll tell about a couple of them just because I'm excited. So, y'all know cicadas, right? Them little motherfuckers that sit up in the tree and scream all day. I love them, too. So, for whatever reason, they just die by the hundreds on my back deck.
Not everybody is from our area, and I have to realize this because, like, I'll have videos just of, like, my surroundings.
And people are like, what is that sound?
Yeah, and it just sounds really loud to them, and I just don't notice. Like, I really don't.
It's cicadas, y'all.
It's very loud, apparently.
Oh, yeah, you have to shout when you're outside.
I had no idea.
Anyway, they dying in droves, so what I do is I collected little corpses, I stick them in my freezer, and this sounds gross. It's not. Then I do some insect taxidermy, which is where I position the insect, and I dry it out completely so it's not disgusting. And then I encase that shit in metal, and it looks fucking baller. It looks
metal
amazing.
grows on it.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It is so completely forever preserved.
In metal. It's metal.
And you can wear it, and it looks... Listen, people will not even understand. They're like, what witchcraft is this?
It's so cool. It's so cool.
The other pieces I've made are like big, chunky pieces of quartz crystal that I pulled out the earth myself.
We're going crystal mining for my birthday.
Yeah. So and an antler piece. And it's just... It's good stuff. It's some magical jewelry. We'll have some little dainty pieces as well for those of you. Stacky rings. I'm going to do some cute little earrings with like some labradorite and stuff.
Mateo, whenever my baby, whenever he was a baby like a year or two ago, we just collected tons and tons because he liked to pick stuff up and hand it to me.
Acorns.
So we have tons of acorns. So we're going to do acorn pendants out the wazoo.
And earrings and keychains. Cute stuff.
Those are fun, like small things too.
But... as I always like to say at the end, if all you can do to support this podcast is listen, hey, I appreciate you. I just never want anyone to feel bad during
every time you say it, I blush because I'm like, oh my God, there's someone listening to us.
There are thousands of people listening to us.
It's been 2 years and there are so many of you, but still I'm just sitting here with my best friend.
Y'all, it's weird because you put this shit out there into the void and then you look at some random numbers on the screen, but it doesn't really hit you until we start hearing from you guys. And then it's really crazy.
And that's long after we've recorded.
I know. And so it just doesn't seem real sometimes. It's like a dream. It's really nice.
It's weird.
But I feel like we're both back. Like I went insane briefly, and then we were going through a life change, and you weren't well before that. Well. No. And now I'm back, and it feels really good. Mm-hmm. I feel very engaged.
I'm really excited about this next season.
Me too.
We get a new season in October. This is our last month.
I know, isn't it crazy?
It's just wild.
It is wild. 3 years.
I can't believe I'm blushing at my own self. That's great.
Our 3rd year of doing this.
Disgusting.
I never thought it would have gone as well as it has.
No.
And so it's amazing. Anyway, love you guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Us on your social media platform of choice. Linktree/Cruelty has all of the links. Check out our Patreon for exclusive episodes, merch, ad-free episodes, live ghost hunts, and much more. Please be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded weekly. Thank you so much. See you next time. Music and production by Libby.